Hey boys and girls, my name is M13 and I'm here to talk to you about Prototype and Infamous. Two of they're both classified as adventure games, and to be honest, I've never liked adventure games before. To be honest, I think one of the first adventure games I've tried is Prototype. It's kind of an adventure fighting game. I think adventure games, it's kind of like a role-playing game, except without the role-playing. You just kind of like travel around and beat the crap out of everything. There's a lot of button mashing, and I find most adventure games like Bayonetta and Darksiders, and there's a lot of them nowadays. And I find most of them to be fairly brainless, and that's what I don't like about them. But nonetheless, I think Prototype is an amazing game. It's probably one of my favorite games of 2009, of the last year. I played that a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. It's one of the coolest games. You know, you can take over tanks, take over helicopters. You're flying around. You got so many different powers and whatnot. It's just a really fun game. And then I actually have another video where I review just that game, and I can link to that. And then a lot of people compare that game to Infamous, which they both came out around the same time, and they're both very similar as they're Grand Theft Auto free world style games. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto with superpowers. It's pretty much a good way to sum it up. And I've been playing Infamous now for a couple of weeks. I bought it secondhand for my PS3. It's a PS3 only game, PS3 exclusive. And how does it compare to Prototype? It's hard to say. There's some things that are better and some things that are worse. The graphics for the characters in the game are much worse on. That's a nice house. On Infamous. They're much better on Prototype. When you're talking to people, like facial expressions. There you go. Facial expressions, whatnot, they're much better on Prototype. On Infamous, the characters really look crappy. Like, people on the street will run up to you and ask you for help, and their faces just look horrible. The acting is also the voiceovers is better in Prototype. The graphics for the people is better in Prototype. But the graphics for buildings, both games take place in cities, and the buildings are much more detailed in Infamous. The reason being, Infamous puts more, it has more realistic parkour, just like building climbing. In both games you can like scale buildings and whatnot, but in Prototype you're much more powerful, and you can kind of just run up the side of a building, and it's as simple as that. So they make all the buildings kind of flat, so you can just run up them. All the buildings are kind of just generic. They all look the same. It's just building, and you can run up the side of them. But in Infamous, you can't just run up the side of a building. You have to actually climb it. And they put a lot of effort into making each and every building. They put a lot of effort into making all the buildings unique. So every building, you have to climb it in a different way. Some buildings you can just jump from window to window to window. Some buildings you can't. Some buildings, the windows are smooth, like smooth glass. So there's nothing to grab onto. So you have to try to climb that building in a different way, and that adds a lot to the game. So they sacrificed on the graphics of the characters, but they put more effort into the landscape, and I think it paid off. I think it was a good choice. Other than that. So so far, the story in Infamous it progresses more nice. There's a lot less repetition. Prototype, it's just like kill this, blow this up, kill this many people, go here, kill this. In Infamous, there's a lot of variety in the missions. You still get some repetition, but not anywhere near as much as in Prototype. And I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the fact that every so often I get a mission that's totally unlike the missions I've already done. I'm going to head back to that 7-Eleven and get something to eat. So Yeah, so but you know, like, to be honest, I'm pretty sure if you like one, then you'll like the other. If you've played Prototype and you like it, then get Infamous. If you played Infamous and you like it, well, then get Prototype. And if you want to know of a adventure game that kicks both of their asses, the answer would be Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 is also a PS3 exclusive game. And I'll do a review of that sometime. But I'm just saying, if you're really into adventure games, it's worth buying a PS3 just for Uncharted 2, because it's the king of adventure games.
I've seen this so many times here. Taiwanese people, they get a flat tire, it just slows them down a little, you know. Instead of 50, he does like 30. And just keeps on trucking. It's crazy.